Shit, don't start. I gotta take my damn medicine. Ooh, 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 ooh. I mean, if you start, you can start. It is what
It's
it is.
already started. Yep. Let's get everyone some time to come on in and do some stuff that we need to do on our end. Hmm. Make sure everything's working because, stuff be, stuff be acting weird. Make sure. Hmm. Okay, so it's looking good over on YouTube as far as I can tell. Okay.
I'm coming back. Hold on.
Okay.
Oh shoot, I gotta silence this. I'm so sorry.
Okay, just a few more minutes. We'll give it another minute and then we'll go ahead and get started. Excuse me. My allergies have been kind of wonky, so I am doing a lot of throat clearing and all that good fun stuff. Thank you, everyone who's joining us for the live, whether if you're catching it live or if you're going to catch it later over on YouTube. We appreciate your support. But just about another minute or so before we officially get it started. Okay, sorry. I just have to fix something. All right. All right. It is 6:03. And you guys, if you know nothing else, we try to keep it on schedule, keep it on track because hashtag mom life, hashtag it's Sunday. We got stuff to do on Monday. So thank you so much for everyone who's joining us for another Sunday Live with Oust Now podcast. And before we get into it, we've got some clarifications to clear up. Oh, you're muted. Oh, I can't hear you. Okay.
Girl. Yeah, I'm ready. I've been waiting. I do feel a little some type of way. Just a
Mm,
little.
how
Only
so?
because I'm gonna tell you why.
Okay.
Because I feel like, I mean, so I do appreciate the fact that they responded. However, I feel like we given them the opportunity to actually come live with us, to actually join the conversation
Mm-hmm.
and really clear up some things and actually give us more information on the Don't Date Him Atlanta
Mm-hmm.
page that went viral, and to give us the complete real
Yeah.
story in their words and their point of view. But
Yeah, I just think also
Crickets.
they may have misunderstood. I don't know because I thought it was maybe it just wasn't clear enough, but I think they may have misunderstood some points. Um, and I think this is a great opportunity to clear up some of the misconceptions because, and I think I remember saying throughout the course of the episode, this one thing that I thought it would make it pretty, but let's just pull up
Okay.
let's just get it up there. So, as we talked about last week, the original page for Don't Date Him Atlanta disappeared. But as we went through the episode, we did kind of state that there was a bunch of other pages that we just couldn't verify if it's even the same person. Because how easy is it to take that content and put it on a spin up page, grab that same image, and
Correct.
make page number 500 and whatever. um,
Child. Part two, part three and four.
but I do think, I appreciate the fact that you guys, that you responded for sure.
Mhm.
Um, and it was interesting to see and I want to just kind of focus on that last one. If you want to kind of do the first two.
Okay, so we got the eye emojis as a response,
Uh-huh.
which I thought was really funny because that's my shit. That's my go-to is those eyes. I was like, okay. Anyway, okay, so it says the second guy, I never posted him. He made those posts for clout. Um, so we never saw him on the lineup?
We had no way to kind of go back and double check because by the time
Oh, because
it
it
was
was all
like,
down.
and this page
Oh,
that they reached
okay.
out to us on is like a newer page. It's not like the OG page.
So we don't really know for sure.
Yeah, we don't really know straight unless they repost it onto the new page, which is something we can check. But
Okay.
you know,
Okay. Okay. Um, it wasn't, what is this? It wasn't the dirty toilet.
uh huh,
He wanted ass on the first date. Now that part I really did assume because he was saying that they were adults. It was something that he said that really kind of did give me the indication that that's kind of what he was saying, like we adults, let's go back and do our thing.
mm-hmm.
And I could see being offended about that.
Mm-hmm.
In all honesty, I wouldn't care what kind of meal we was having, whether it was some high class restaurants or was fucking McDonald's. Like, it's you crazy?
Okay,
It's you,
agreed. Don't expect it. Do what you do as adults, but
I mean, like, if that's your thing, like,
Mhm.
if that's your thing, I am not judging, right? But don't expect that to be somebody else's same take on it.
Yeah,
To be on board with whatever you're on board with. And I guess there's no harm in asking, but if you was to ask me, I would definitely be insulted. Like, did you just ask me that?
for sure. Same. And you know what? I don't know if we made it clear that we were kind of making a joke about the dirty toilet part. I
We
thought.
was. We was. I thought it was
Okay.
funny, but clearly it was a misunderstanding, which
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
Absolutely.
like the person didn't misunderstand about the asking for some.
Okay. But
Okay.
I think the part that may have been missed is the fact that we were saying, this person creating this page
Mhm.
sparked a movement of a bunch of different pages with comebacks, with now it's
Mhm.
the women. But even we said it during, I believe we said it. If we didn't, let's just be clear. It's really hard to tell who's creating these pages because it's the web.
Oh, we said that. We
I'm like,
absolutely said it. So I don't know if they didn't listen to the whole episode, but
maybe.
I thought that was very clear that there were other pages that stemmed from that page. I don't think we ever said, "Hey, they created other pages."
Yeah. Or
I don't. Go
sorry
ahead.
about that.
No, no, no. Go ahead.
I'm just wondering if maybe it was on part two because we had to split it up. So maybe some of the stuff that we're saying now wasn't on that first part one.
Uh,
That might be it.
yeah, okay.
Yeah,
That could be. I could see how that could be a misconception because I forgot. I forgot it was broken up. I forgot that part.
yeah.
Okay.
So I think it might be a tribute to that. But we do want to thank the new page, not the Don't Date Him Atlanta, the new one. We really appreciate you reaching out. And we did, ask you if you wanted to kind of come on to the podcast, let us know. And we'll be happy to feature you on a one-on-one conversation just dedicated to this because, we have our stuff planned out and we plan to do this here. But thank you for reaching out and we hope that you watch this one as well. But today,
Let's do it, Harry. Let's do
Miss Shirley. Now, if you guys don't know, now I did not know about Miss Shirley until you kindly were like, "Hey, check out Miss Shirley." But
it.
she is officially an internet sensation. Recently on J Hud's show, go ahead, and she's taking, she's going viral. Very, I don't know how old she's. I want to say maybe four. Definitely not in kindergarten. I don't think. But she's out there doing her line dances and just boogieing, and the internet has some opinions. And of course, so do
We
we.
have ours too.
Yes, we do. But let's have a look at the page here because this is a child, and they're not really, to my knowledge, someone that age wouldn't be able to set up a whole TikTok account for themselves or YouTube page, however you want to spin it. So clearly, the adult in the room has created this page or is now using this page for um, this content, which is, let's just have a quick look
And
at the
she is
TikTok page.
4. I didn't mean to
She's
cut you
four.
off, but I Googled it and I'm from what Google says she is 4. She is
Okay,
4. So you
got
were
it.
right. Okay.
I mean, she's so adorable. Let me
She
replay that one
is.
more time because it was very short, so I apologize. Uh, but here she is. This is the page, Miss Shirley, and it's featuring this beautiful little girl, and she is just doing her dances. Now, where is she getting the dances from? There's an answer for
Okay.
that. There's an answer for this. Guess where she's getting them from? The Talk, of course, where we all get our news. So this is where she's kind of catching her moves. And just know, like, I thought it might be a better choice to not use some of the other videos that's going around because I just don't want to perpetuate things that I wouldn't necessarily do for me, you know what I'm saying, or for my
Yep.
kids or any of
Yep.
my family. So
I agree.
I thought this was the least, um, yeah.
S- So initially,
Mhm.
when someone brought it to my attention, so someone that was like, "Hey, what about this? What do you think about this?" Um, at first, when I was initially watching it, I was just watching it. I was like, I don't understand what their problem is initially,
Mhm.
right? Did you have that same initial take on it? Because the initial
Mhm.
take on it, well, probably not, because you don't post
Mhm.
kids at all, but I'm
Mhm.
post my kids. They cute, dang it. I'm post them.
They are.
It's a lot
This.
of pushing. That was a lot of shit I had to do to get them here. Thank you,
Mhm.
Jesus. Um, and so I think God did good. So I'm gonna post them.
Mhm.
So, but I still have my boundaries
Mhm.
and a certain standard. So when someone first brought it to my attention, first it was the name for me.
That's what
Um,
Miss Shirley. Huh. Okay.
yeah, the name. Like, and they said that's actually how they stumbled across it. because the myth confused them.
Hmm.
Myth. So when you hear myth, you think adult, you think grown.
Mm.
And so when they first seen the Miss Shirley, it confused them because they was like, where is the Miss Shirley? That is the Miss Shirley, honey. That's the Miss the little one. That's her.
Like that
And
should be the
then
mama's name, the grandmama's name.
um I
Okay, I'm
mean,
putting
doesn't
this
she sound
away.
like somebody's grandmother?
Hell
Miss
yeah.
Shirley. Miss Shirley sounds like she gonna be cooking you up a plate and shit, right? Let me go to
Yes.
Miss Shirley house and give me a plate, honey. Going over there to Miss Shirley house and get a plate. You know she'll be frying up that chicken. That's beside the point. I hope that didn't come out wrong.
No, because that's kind of, I
Okay.
was like, I was expecting an older
Okay.
woman, a church
I really
lady,
was.
to say
Definitely toting the Bible and stuff. Um,
a Sunday hat.
reminded me of my faith because Lord knows I've been a little confused about it lately. But that's beside the point. The point is, um, they said that's what confused them at first. And at first, when I was watching a little girl dance, I was looking at him. I was looking at him like, "What is your problem?" And then I kept watching, and I was like, "Oh,
Hmm.
oh, yes."
Yeah.
So I mean, everybody has an opinion.
Hmm.
Everybody is entitled to their opinion. I am not taking away that she is not a very talented little girl, right? She's talented. However, I feel like some of it is a bit much. I know me and my oldest daughter, she was like, you would have never.
Same.
She
No.
was like, if I looked like I was going to twist too hard, we had a problem. Dead ass. Uh-uh, uh-uh. You can dance, keep it cute. Keep it cute and keep it clean. Um,
Mhm.
and it is very cute. Me personally, I probably wouldn't have my daughter. Not too much. And you know that I know you remember, or maybe vaguely, but your oldest niece, she did pageants,
Mm. No, I didn't remember that. I'm sorry.
but we drew the line. We're not doing all of the lashes. We're not doing all of this makeup. We're not
Mhm.
doing all this extra stuff. And if doing all that extra stuff is gonna hinder her, then so be it. She's gonna go out here and she's gonna have fun. Because that's what this is about. All of that extra extreme stuff that I've seen, I'm like, no, we're not doing that. And guess what? She still placed. She still did very well.
Mhm.
So, and that was without all of the extra, extra.
Based on talent, not.
Girl, I didn't say it. You said it, but that, what you said. It's that side look for me that you just gave. Like,
Okay, I'm putting the
that's
petty
why,
away. I've
that's
exhausted
why.
my petty limitation.
No, you haven't. It's two more. Come on,
Okay,
let's do it.
when we're done with the podcast, I'll put it away officially. We'll see what comes out. um, it's funny because I know I kind of lean on the exact polar opposite, and I'm not saying I think you need to be very careful when it comes to giving children a digital footprint. I'm not saying that my youngest, he has a YouTube account and that I help with. So he has his own YouTube, but how we do it, I think, is what we see as safe. Even with our older girls, they were never on social media, and we've continued that tradition, and we will continue to do that with our youngest. As best as we can. But I think, maybe, there was a moment where I was like, well, maybe, I can kind of relax that a little bit because he's getting older. But right around the time that I was thinking about it, I had read a very and I can share it maybe on the YouTube. I'll put it there. that talked about like some of the hazards of giving your children a digital footprint before they can consent to it. And that was like, because there's bullying, and they have some stats on it what I can share, but that can lead to bullying. You're letting potential scammers know when you're rough ages for your kids. It's a nice detailed article that I read, that I was like, okay, letting them know birthdays, stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff that people who are of malintent can gauge from what we post as parents on social media. Now, I know I'm the extreme, but I have my reasons, because I feel like, hey, look, it took a lot of effort and a lot of work to bring this child into the world. And I don't want it to be anything that I've done for my personal reasons to kind of affect him negatively. And the internet is a dangerous place for kids. It's not a safe place. And when you hear some of the things that like that documentary that we both were watching.
I think it has to be within reason.
Mhm,
Like, for example, when you said something about birthdays, like,
mhm,
I don't post exactly their birthday.
same,
I
yeah.
post around about.
Hmm.
I don't post years.
Not everyone
And
does that though. Like you exercise a healthy level of caution of, okay, so like you're I'm the extreme, and I'm okay with it. And I don't feel embarrassed about it. No one's going to shame me about it either, you know what I'm saying? But there is a healthy way to do it. You have to be somewhere in the middle. There's the two
okay,
extremes and somewhere in the middle. I think you exercise the middle well.
okay.
But not everyone is
Practice
not,
is the same.
yeah.
And I do agree with that. I also, and I'm not saying that this is the case with Miss Shirley, but this is definitely the case with some other situations that we are going to talk about later in the episode, correct?
Hmm.
So maybe not with Miss Shirley. I don't know. I don't know enough information, and all things come out to the light, um, and it is what it is. But some children are being exploited in
Hmm.
this way with the social media. Um, Again, just so that there's no confusion, um, because I don't want to get negative, any
Comments.
comments about, you know, I mean, I'm not scared, but I also want to say I want it to be a clear understanding of what my message is. Okay.
Hmm. Yeah.
So, and my message is simply, again, I'm not saying that that is the case with Miss Shirley, but
Hmm.
there have been cases, and we're going to discuss other situations where these children were really being exploited. They're being exploited and they was being mistreated.
Horribly.
Um, and so there is a very fine line, and it's hard to be as supportive when you don't know,
Absolutely.
right? Um,
Yeah.
and just because how I will handle things as a parent and a parent of daughters and boys, um, may be different from how you are going to handle your
Hmm.
parenting. It doesn't mean either is wrong. It just means we have different parenting styles. I feel like, now this is in Miss Shirley's case. I do feel like some of her dancing is a little bit grown. I really do. I feel like it's a little grown for her age. That's my personal opinion. Um, is it cute? Is she talented? I'm not gonna take nothing from her. What I am gonna say is my daughter no. My daughter no. Girl, don't push me. Let's
You're not too old for that, chancleta.
child, let's not end up on the news. Let's not, and then I have to be begging for money on Cash App for defense.
Her GoFundMe's.
GoFundMe.
See, what happened was, you know, I didn't have the experience of, raising girls from birth to, you know what I mean? So my experience is different, but I feel pretty confidently that that's a hard pass.
Girl,
Because I
period.
don't know, I'm pretty conservative in my dress, and I know, like, in a lot of things, but liberal in other ways, a lot of other ways. But when it comes to children, I don't know how
Right.
someone might perceive what I just said.
That's why I chuckled. And who cares? Because it was funny to me. Like, girl, what you mean, girl? What you talking about? Want to elaborate?
But if you guys see how protective I am with our youngest, I have, that's kind of what I would extend. You all get it equally, whether I gave birth to you or not, is my general approach. And with girls, even more so, because I feel that you have to be more protective as they're growing up, because, after a certain pay, and not within reason, but I do think that you have to be more protective, because not more protective.
Girl, I can't find my tissue.
I don't know if more
It seems
protective
like
is the
Eric.
right thing, but even it doesn't matter. You just gotta be protective of your kids, period. So whatever I would extend for one is what I would extend to all of the above.
Mm.
But I guess, with how kids dress is very different. So I'm kind of like, I remember having a hard time finding clothes for the boy, because I'm like, how do you dress these, these kids? But it was easy for me to find dress like girl clothes because I'm a girl. But even then, what I would look for would be conservative in nature. Nothing's appropriate lengths, things like that.
I think I shared with you that that used to be a little bit of a battle. No, not a little bit, a lot of a battle, because um, I never believed in two pieces
Mm.
for little girls.
Like bikini two pieces type thing. Okay,
Yes,
got it. Got it. Got
bikini two pieces. Like, now I did let Anna, mm, Jesus, I said that out loud. Um, I I did let. Oh wait.
it. I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine. Can you tell him I said hey?
He gone. It's like a hit and run request.
Girl, that's how they be sometimes.
Can I? Blah, 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 blah. Fine. Okay, bye.
Um, I did let your oldest niece
Mhm.
wear a cute one for one of her pageants, but it was very age appropriate, which I think is hard,
Mm. Mhm.
in my opinion. Um, but they'll tell you that we've had that battle, and because again, different parenting styles. Dad says, "Oh, that's okay," and I'm like, "No, it's not okay. It's not okay with me." I didn't like it, and it was definitely, it caused a little bit of issue, because I'm respectful when it comes to co-parenting. So if you co-parenting, or anybody's child for that matter, if you
Mhm.
say these things are not allowed in your house, when they come to my house, they're not going to be able to do those things just because they're at my house. Those same rules are going to apply, right?
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
some people don't give you that same respect. So when my daughters were not with me, if dad or auntie or dad's girlfriend certain things was acceptable that I was not acceptable with. I told you about the whole YouTube channel, how that went down.
Mm. You're gonna have to refresh my memory.
Girl, when somebody had a whole YouTube channel um with my baby and had a whole blonde wig on my child's on a YouTube channel and a YouTube video, and I lost my shit.
Oh, I do
Who the
remember her. Oh, okay,
was
yeah,
you?
now I remember.
Well, who the hell?
It
I don't
takes me a minute,
know.
you guys. I don't always
I
remember.
don't
I do
listen. I
remember
was.
that now.
I was like, oh, you got a YouTube channel? Oh, how cute. Let me see. Mommy want to see. Can I see? Yes, I'll show it to you. And I was like, okay, let me see.
If that's something you would ask, though, in a co-parenting
Girl,
co-parentship, that's
that
the word I was looking for. You ask.
that is something you would expect someone to ask. But not everybody has, again, the same style of parenting, or maybe some people are just very, so I want to say unaware. Now, I don't know. I thought I was really hot. I was heated. I was so mad. I was like, you are lost your effing mind. Listen, listen, Linda.
I was gonna
I don't
say
know,
something petty, and I was just like, "Zoop."
girl. I
Did you
don't.
see my face? I was like,
I never, girl. You could have said it. I would have probably
no.
appreciated you for it. Um,
Mm-mm.
I think people just have a different style or different opinions when it comes to certain things. But when it's not your child, ooh, now that will really get under my skin. Now, had that been my child, girl, y'all have been reading all about it.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I don't. I don't know. I think there was someone who commented, and I'll play her video shortly. And she's like a supposedly an industry insider saying like, "Hey, you need to be careful. I understand like you might be like caught up in the because she went viral pretty quickly, like everything in life. And when it goes viral, you've gotta not that I've ever been, not that I know, but from what I understand, you've got to jump on it quickly. And there's some scenarios that are happening that may not necessarily be allegedly that may not necessarily be a safe environment for someone that young. Now, while we may look at it as it being an innocent thing, there
Mhm.
are people out there who will not. We
Period.
can't expect everyone to have the same code of ethics, and
Mhm.
that's where it gets tricky and dicey because you don't know who's on the other end of this, and that's the scary part. um I'm gonna play what she said right now. It's about 6 minutes, you guys, so just
Okay.
hang with us for a little bit.
She is
Hi, this video
gorgeous.
is for Laria's mom,
Right.
also known as Miss Shirley. If you're not Laria's mom, you can keep scrolling or you can stay. Hi, my name is
High
Francesca. I am a TV
cheekbones.
writer, I'm an actress, I'm a content creator. Like so many people on this app, I've fallen in love with your daughter. She is so adorable and so talented. But I wanted to reach out because myself and many others are concerned about the way that Laria's presence has exploded on social media. I saw her on the Jennifer Hudson show recently, which is incredible. As we know, as you get more exposure and more opportunities, there are downsides as well. And I wanted to hopefully try and give you an alternative perspective and also offer some solutions. While I don't have kids, I have worked in kids programming as an actress on the show Hipsters on Apple Plus, which was produced by Sesame Street. I was also a writer on the Disney Channel's Holiday House Party and Halloween House Party. And then I've also worked with child actors as a writer and a producer when I worked on the iCarly reboot for Paramount Plus. Now I know there's been a lot of criticism and misinformation that have been spreading about Lariah, and I want to address that up front because I can absolutely understand why that's been concerning to you and off-putting. This idea that you started an OnlyFans page has been circulating, and after doing some research, I found that it was actually a Facebook fan page that was labeled OnlyFan page. And as you know, the internet latches onto something and it kind of spirals into its own thing. And now people have been saying that you started an OnlyFans page. And again, I understand why that's probably been really upsetting for you to hear. repeated. That said, I did see that Lariah has a Facebook fan page with about 500,000 followers on it, and she's almost at 1 million followers here on TikTok, which is a huge accomplishment. One thing that I noticed is a lot of your videos have millions of views, but they also have hundreds of thousands and sometimes millions of saves, meaning that people are saving or downloading the video so that they can watch it later. And that's where my concern comes in, because you don't know what those people are doing with that content. And unfortunately, there are programs available that let people manipulate content of children in inappropriate ways. Something I've seen a lot of people say is, well, if you are thinking inappropriate things are to happen to this child, that's you, you're a weirdo. And I understand the impulse to, see the best in people and not assume the worst. But again, when you have numbers that are reaching into the millions, it just takes one person. It's the idea of, if you are reaching into a barrel of M&Ms and there's one in there that's poisonous, it's a risk. I've also seen that Lariah is doing meet and greets, and some of the locations aren't exactly child friendly, including bars. And I've seen a number of videos with adults, including grown men, picking her up. Again, I understand not wanting to assume the worst, but I hope you can understand why myself and so many others are concerned, and especially considering I do work in entertainment, and I've heard, unfortunately, too many stories from former child actors talking about being taken advantage of by people that they never expected it from. Those are situations that I would just never want your daughter to be in, and I'm sure you don't want that as well. That said, your daughter is very talented and adorable, and if a career in entertainment is what she and you hope for her, I absolutely believe that can be possible. Some things that I would encourage you to think about is possible collaborations with someone like a Miss Rachel or a Gracie's Corner, things that are specifically designed for children rather than catering to adults. I understand the impulse to strike while the iron is hot, but luckily Lariah is very young and very talented and has a long life and hopefully a long career ahead of her, if that is what's right for the both of you. And so I just want to encourage you to let her enjoy the time of being a kid and not have to worry about performing or the confusion that might come along with adults calling her a name that's different from her own. Also, making sure that you're able to vet the opportunities that are coming in for her to set her up for success in the future. So I just want to let you know that my DMs are open if you want to reach out to me or you need advice or help navigating any of the incoming opportunities. I'd be more than happy to help or point you in the right direction if possible. Okay, thanks for listening.
Sorry. Do you think she listened, and do you think she had a good take on that?
I loved her take on it because I felt like she's like, as long as it's legitimate, right? As long as and it seems she's a verified account, so she might be who she says she is. But I feel like it was well intentioned and coming from a good place and not a negative place. Like, even taking the step to say, hey, let me do some research to validate or invalidate the OnlyFans thing. Because when I first read it, I was like, are you kidding me? And then I found her and it was like, yeah, that's not true. She's on a fan page. But I was taken aback by the rumor that there was an
Yeah.
OnlyFans page for her. I was like, I don't like I why? But she helped to kind of clear up that rumor. But it seemed very well intentioned. I think that the advice that she gave makes a lot of sense. And if you watch enough documentaries, which we do, the Disney kids, the things that happened to them, how they were taken advantage, you cannot discount that these it can happen. We would love to live in like a Disney bubble as if
Mhm.
everything is great all the time, but that's
Right.
not the world we live in.
Or that people do not have ill intentions. Like, we would love to think that,
Yeah.
but that's just not the reality of it. I wonder um, if that advice was taken well.
I hope so because
I hope so. I
she
think she
won't
really came.
leave.
I think she came very genuine. Some people still feel, I guess, like, who cares about your opinion? Almost kind of like maybe how people may feel about our opinions at times.
Fair. But if it's concerning my child from someone who might be able to teach me a thing or two, I'm here for it.
But
I'm
that's
here for learning.
you.
But
That's you.
sure.
That that's you as a parent.
Yeah.
That's you and your life experiences. Not
I would hope that
everybody.
she did. I would hope she
I
did.
hope so.
That's the best
I
I
hope
can.
so.
Yeah.
I really do. I do. With everything in me. I hope she and I hope that she does reach out to her and uses her as an avenue
Hmm.
moving forward. As a, but who's to say to even trust her? Like I'm funny.
I
Girl,
thought the
I'm
same
so
thing though. There was a
funny.
part of me that was like, but
Like shoot. I
side
don't know
eye.
you. I don't even know you.
I mean, she could get a manager. I mean, you can get. I don't know. I don't know about those things, but like you can get a manager or hire someone or get sign her with a talent agency because I know
Period.
those are a thing. Sign her with a
And then
talent
do your
agency.
homework and do your homework on that agency. And that way
Absolutely.
it's kind of out of your hands and it's out of. I'm gonna be quiet.
And then you can vet it too. I mean, not for nothing. And this may come across a little bit judgmental, and I'm fine with accepting if y'all would come for me, but I would not have my 4-year-old in a bar.
In a what? In a
In
bar?
a bar.
Girl, period.
It's
But
like,
you know what?
no, I don't think that. I don't think
But
I'd do that.
what's weird about that is that's not the first time. We've heard about groups that became very famous that did do music and appearances and singing and
It's
all of
fair.
those kind of things in bars and really because where else was they going to perform? They're not heard of.
No, I don't know if they
Now
heard of
I wouldn't
yeah.
do that. Me personally, I wouldn't have my 4-year-old in a bar either.
Because she's 4. And she's not, I don't know. Now, the part that I don't know if it's true is how she was saying, like, people are like picking her up and stuff like that. I was like, that's a hard no. I don't care where you are. If you're some stranger, I
Yeah.
don't know who the hell you are. No.
Like now, why is you picking my kid up again now? Who are you?
Man or woman, no.
Child. I ask as a female, as a mother, I ask.
Yeah.
Is it okay? As a matter of fact, the other day there was this little boy and his shoe was untied, and I literally was about to tie his shoe, and then I kind of stopped myself because I was like, you know what, girl, learn how to mind your business. And so then,
We hate to be
out
that
of
way, but
out of habit, my first instinct was let me tie this kid's shoe.
mhm.
It wasn't. Uh, but then I don't know if it was the mother or the teacher or who, I don't want to assume, but they was like coming in. I was like, yo, I'm sorry. I was gonna so tie his shoe. I wasn't thinking, but I didn't tie it. And then I was like, I'm pretty sure he knows how to tie his own shoe. And then the little boy just bent down and started tying his shoe. I think sometimes, and I don't know if everybody's like that, but me personally, um, if I see that a child is hurt or if it's a safety issue, I think I will kind of step in, right? But
Yeah.
even now, I'm a little bit less likely, or I'm more. I know there's one time we was at a park. Girl, I definitely don't want to bring that up. I'm just thinking about it. But anyway, we're at a park and there's this little girl who had fell and she had hurt herself. And I was like, yo, let me go get this kid. And then the person I was with, it was like, you better leave that kid alone.
Maybe it's male or female. I feel like a man's more apt to be like, mm-mm. But as a mom, it'd be like, oh
Oh,
no.
let me help. God, let me help. Um, but and I'm happy that I mind my business. I, thi- I was like, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
happy I kind of minded my business.
I was not put in a position, but I had something. with it, like something happened at a school one day when I was picking up my youngest, and like there was a young girl who appeared to be in crisis, and I remember there was a moment where I thought she was going to be like she was in harm's way, and I intervened, and I afterwards I was like, in that moment the best thing I could have done was making sure that she wasn't hurt. But afterwards I was like, yo, should you have stayed in your lane here?
Mind your business. Mind
Are they gonna bar me from the pickup line because I stay in my damn lane and now I can't pick my kid up because the school was a little, they were, they were strict about stuff. So I was like, did this just like affect how I'm able to pick up my kid and stuff like that? So it's sometimes it as a woman, you just can't help it, but you do come up afterwards like, did I make the right choice here? Should I have not? Should I have it's a hard balance because you don't want someone coming at you. Then what? You
Right.
know?
And sometimes the best intentions can be misunderstood.
Absolutely. Yep.
So just like that incident where I think the guy was accused of trying to kidnap the little girl
Oh, at the Walmart.
at the Walmart, and he wasn't even trying to kidnap the little girl. She had run over the baby's foot.
That was recently, wasn't it?
Yes, it
I
was. It
like
was.
the last month or so, within the last 3, 4
Yes.
weeks. Yeah.
Yes, honey. I
Yeah.
was like, what?
Some Karen. She was just looking to get her 5 minutes of fame so she could start her GoFundMe.
Well,
That was her intention. She's, I'm gonna go viral and get this little Indian man in trouble. It's kind of what she did.
and
I don't know if he was from India specifically, but what an Asian man there. That's the better way to say it.
okay.
But she just kind of, I mean, I don't know what that happened, what that was about. That might have come out wrong, but you know what I'm saying? Like, that's
I
probably
got
what's.
no, I got it. I got it. I think everybody got it. I don't think.
I was like, I don't want
Oh,
to offend
you're right.
anybody.
Let's clear it up because we
Clear it
know
up.
things can be misunderstood, misconstrued.
But that was the
Um,
story, you guys. That was what's coming out in the news.
so children being exploited. Again, we're not saying that that's the case with Miss Shirley.
Mhm.
I keep repeating that because we don't want nothing to be misconstrued.
Mhm.
I'll be there and doing the GoFundMe, begging on Cash App, putting my Cash App on everything. Cash App me. Um, what's the other one too, where you can gifts and
You're asking the wrong person.
I'm sorry.
I'm like, wait a minute.
Um, I
um,
was being a little shady with
I
that one. I'm be honest.
was like, I don't know.
I was trying to be a little sexy. Um, so there have been some other cases like the documentary um where um do we have any
Yeah, I mean, there was two, right, that came
that is
out right, like within months of each other. So
yes.
February was the Ruby Frank thing, and then what, a couple of weeks ago there was the other one, and I don't know the woman's name, but I can pull it up. But Ruby Frank, well, now she.
Girl, she was
So to remind everyone about this
girl,
woman
let's do
here,
it.
yeah,
Mm. Girl,
and
let's
it
do it.
was, what was it, the 15 and counting, something like that, 8 people in a bus, YouTube channel, and this was the mom and the husband. They broke up, and at some point there was a person who intervened within their whole familial relationship between the mom, the dad, the children, and which ultimately led to the youngest children being um, abused severely, so much so that they had to sneak out of their house and call, not and go for help at a stranger's house. But this all started with this YouTube channel. Like, she was kind of forcing her children to do this content with her. And even when they started showing signs that they weren't happy and they didn't want to do the content any longer, she punished them. Which is unfortunate. Like I understand how, it's a wonderful idea to be able to make a living off of social media. Yeah, we all want that. Sure, we want it for our podcast too. But what is the line? And what is the line when it comes to your children?
Girl, I'm sorry, this is off topic, but I had put on my readers because it had looked so blurry, but it just
Mhm.
looked blurry. Like it just looked blurry. Like I was like, okay. I was like, oh my God.
Right, it was
I
blurry.
need desperately. I was having a moment like, oh my God, I really need to get my fucking eyes checked. This is bad. This is really bad. This, I was like, you
Wait.
didn't see me. I was over here like, oh shit.
No, because I was doing a screen share. So when I do a screen share, I can't. Oh,
Girl,
I
I
forget.
was over here like, I put on the glasses. I still can't see. It's still blurry. Oh my God, girl. Girl, you had me ready to set up my eye appointment tomorrow. Like, somebody come see about me because it is getting bad. Okay. I'm so sorry. That was off topic. But I was like,
Like, oh.
ooh, even with the glasses, I'm not even being able to see this. Okay. Um, you might have to remind me again because I think I might be getting her confused with the other documentary.
Oh,
So I guess that's why I was really trying to read it because I was like, okay, now I'm
okay.
confused.
So the Ruby Frank was the family out of Utah, but the more recent one is the family. I forget where they're from. Let me pull up because I did. The wonderful thing about AI is you could just Google schmoogle a lot. Um, oh, so the newest one, and this is out of Netflix, called "The Bad Influence: Dark Side of Kid Fluency."
Oh, I think that's the one I had it confused with because I was like, wait, which one is this? Nah, I got it. Okay.
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 Um, are you able to see? Okay, perfect. Now we can. I was like, oh, I
Yeah,
just want to make
I
sure we
can
can see
see it.
it.
Yay! A little.
I was like,
I'm not
um,
going blind. Okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry. It's not fun.
but I think it was two different scenarios. Two in the sense of the other Ruby Frank was a family focused YouTube channel and also faith based YouTube channel, which I don't get the correlation like how you start out as this and then you end up. Well, we do. There might have been some manipulation and allegedly. Um, and there was a faith-based element, but somewhere it just turned into like I don't know, exorcisms and random stuff like that. They were traumatizing his kids.
So
Um,
that was the Ruby Frank?
that was Ruby Frank, but this is
Okay.
different. Yeah.
And Ruby Frank, if my memory serves me correctly, she was the one that treated the younger two way different from how she was treating the rest of them. And in a lot of her videos, she was doing like she was cooking and doing certain things for one set of children, but wasn't really treating the other children the same way.
Um,
Is that what
I
I'm understanding here, or?
I don't remember all of those details because I think I don't want to
Okay.
confuse it with this other documentary that we're looking at here. I don't want to confuse those
Okay.
details, but
Okay.
she treated one son differently because when he started like showing signs that he didn't want to do content anymore, there was one the older one, she started treating him very, very poorly and was basically forcing him like if you'll get your room back when you start doing like content again and make it seem like you love it because he was showing like he wasn't loving it and you can see it, but she didn't care. And if I didn't know that this was such a big thing, I didn't know that like kid fluencing could yield so much money, but at what cost?
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of um when we had did an episode This thing went viral. God, I wish I could find it. It went viral because the mother was doing a video with the little girl, and she was really popular. She was a popular kids influencer, or what is the word I'm looking for? Viral. She was a viral, and I want to say it was on TikTok. Don't quote me on that because I can't remember. But what had happened is the little girl was really doing her thing, and somebody was really paying attention and could see in the mirror behind the little girl how the mother was actually um forcing her and like being ugly to her out of the view of the camera. Well, she thought it was out of the view of the camera, but the mirror had caught her. It was some time ago. Because I want to say we were even in season 3 of Oust. I want to say it was in season 2. Maybe it was season 3. Early on. And I don't know what we were talking about where the topic came up, but some of these parents, I not in all cases, but in some cases, are really living through their children and through their children's success. It was things that they were unable to do, and now they're putting that same pressure on these kids, and their dream ain't your dream. And I've seen this where not just with social media, but sometimes with let's say you have a mother or father that was really good in a sport, like
Mhm.
track and field or football, and now all of a sudden it's all of this pressure on this kid to do sports or do football or to do track and field, and they don't even want to do that. That ain't even their thing. Like you have to kind of let them choose. And I'm not saying that you cannot kind of try to stare them in a direction that you think is successful for them,
Yeah,
but you can't be forcing them just because it's what you like.
yeah.
So just because you like social media, just because you want to be a social media sensation, they might not want that. They're not interested in that, and it's not fair to force that onto them
Yeah, but
like
then
that.
the case of Miss Shirley, like she doesn't really have consent because she's 4. So it's you gonna tell. I mean, I don't know. It's a little tricky and it's weird. Like it seems like she's loving it and she's enjoying it. But what happens because she's only 4? What happens when she doesn't want to do it anymore? Because she's only 4. Then what?
Okay, so when your niece was in pageants and it was, she was doing very good. She was placing. She was being sent to nationals. When she looked at me and said, I don't want to do it anymore, we didn't do it anymore. But here goes the funny thing, though. Do you want to hear the funny thing is? She comes to me and she says, I wish you would have made me do it. I can't win. I can't win.
Well, that was your choice, and we went with it. And what else are you gonna do here?
You said you didn't want to do it anymore, and I didn't want to feel like I was pressuring you to do it because that was a dream that I had for you, and I thought she was really good at it. Once
Mhm.
she got over her shy, she was good. Um, but I was like, now you tell me.
Yeah, but some
You're
parents won't.
grown. You're
Some
grown now. And now I kind of regret that I didn't make her continue with it. But then it's that line where what is
Mhm.
the balance? Because what if I would have made her keep doing it and she would have been bitter about it.
Yeah.
I thought I was making the right decision by like, okay, you don't want to do it anymore? Fine, we're not gonna do it anymore. Who cares that I invested all this damn money in this next because you know you gotta pay to in what is it? For their outfits and stuff like that, the
Yeah.
fees. And so I was like, okay, who cares? It is what it is. You don't want to do it anymore. I'm not gonna make you do it anymore. So she never did
Well,
it
I mean,
again.
but then it's kind of like, this is a this is a good learning moment for your kid to be like, well, if you say you don't want to do it, this is it. There's no going back, and that's that. You're gonna have to learn this the hard way. But what happens when the parents fall in love with all the money that they're suddenly getting thrown at their way, and their kid doesn't want to do the content? Because that's what happened with this thing here. Like there were elements where you could see like the child seemed truly miserable, and then some of the things that came with it here, like people, the biggest thing. Now y'all should just go ahead and watch the documentary. It is
Yeah, it's
striking, but
yeah,
like sending the child's undergarments to someone who requested it. What the
that's weird,
f is that? Like that.
disgusting.
And they talk about it. So that's where it becomes very, first of all, she's four. These kids were, maybe it doesn't even matter what the age group was, they're still kids. And then they had them filming for hours at a time, not following child labor laws. Like they would have to do homeschool, and then they were done with homeschool, then they had to film, and they'd be filming to like 1 o'clock in the morning, getting 3 hours sleep. So there was no regulation. These kids are being treated poorly, and then even an allegation of
SA.
or SA from
Hmm.
one of those kids. And then the pranks really started to get mean. And then they
Bullying.
started like bullying each other,
Hmm.
excommunicating people from the group for not like it.
Hmm.
This is, I'm not saying that that's what is happening here with Shirley because it's new, but like these are things that parents who are considering putting their children as, or having their child be a kidfluencer, as they say. These are the things that you have to consider because they're children, and children change their mind often. And what happens if you start making, and then I think the woman was also taking advantage of the other influencers and not paying them
She was. She
on
was
top
making
of
so much.
all of it all.
She was
Come
making
on.
so much money off of the content that these kids was doing, and then giving the parents some BS about the financial situation.
Yeah, and giving
And
them access to all their socials so they had no control over the, like,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it was crazy. I think that I love to hear about success at whatever age. But I also feel like we do still have to be careful and mindful and watch out for the safety of everybody involved, but especially our young people.
Hmm. Absolutely. So
Yeah,
y'all be careful. Like, there's nothing wrong with choosing that path as long as everyone agrees, everyone wants to do it, and I mean, yeah. Be careful with people that you bring into your circle because of that, because it can easily lead to bigger things and dangerous things for your kid.
it can.
Um,
It can.
so be careful. Like I pulled some things about social studies that they talk about, like the dangers of like social media when it comes to kids overall. So even, I don't know if it's fully relevant here, but it's a word, caution. Use exercise caution if you choose to let your children have social media or be on social media. You got to place limits. Sometimes it's easy to let our kids pull up the tablets. I know I've been there. Go ahead, just so you
Girl.
can get some peace of mind and do what you want to
Like,
do
here, just
versus
take it. Just do as you must. Just
I need some quiet time. And it's easy. But there's a lot of things that come with social media, whether if you're behind the screen or just watching the content, that we need to be cautious of as parents for our kids. Yeah, as parents for our kids. Yeah, and we don't even need to pull the stats because um, we'd like to think that most parents already know this, but do they really?
the thing that I've learned, I've learned a lot. I have learned a lot as I have grown.
Mhm.
I feel like I'm kind of happy that social media was not as big early on, because God
Mhm.
only knows.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah,
true because they say like for it can lead to self-esteem issues for children about depending on how let me pull it up because I don't let me not speak just okay.
girl, hopefully I won't be over here thinking I'm going blind again. Let's go.
Oh, here it goes.
Okay.
um it can lead to oh wait, let me go slower. Let me just back up a little bit because the amount of social media that they are let me just pause it here, see if it'll let me pause it. Um,
Okay.
no.
No.
Teens who spend more than 3 hours a day on social media double their risk of depression and anxiety. That's a lot. I would assume it's also similar for adults, but maybe on a different level. Um,
Mm,
yeah, body image concerns. Yeah,
mm. Well,
cyberbullying.
sure.
I mean, bullies they operate in real life. I had a little one trying to
Girl.
texting my son with some really choice words that I had to say, look, if you don't stop, I'm calling your mother. Then, of course, um, these are all the risks. So no matter which, if it's behind the screen as a social media consumer because you're consuming the content, or if you are choosing to pursue the path of kidfluencer with your kids, like it's tricky either way, and you really got to exercise caution and be careful.
And where did you find this?
It is the Cleveland Health Clinic, I think it was.
Okay. Okay.
Um, but I also like there's a great article that I have it in our workspace
Hmm.
that I would, if anyone wants like a little bit of information on more about it, I'm happy to share it. We just won't we'll post it on the YouTube video if I remember because I forget stuff. I'll try to remember to post it on the YouTube video. Or just comment and remind me and I'll DM you or something like that, but it's a great article to read to kind of understand why I'm probably a little overly cautious when it comes to how we operate social media. I'm not saying don't do it because I mean we do it, but it's different. We just do it differently as far as um, you know. But just be careful out there with these kids because it's not like they're children and they don't really fully understand what we know as adults.
Right.
Um, but Miss Shirley, keep doing your thing. Mama, exercise some caution here.
Right. Yeah.
um, we try to keep it into an hour, and there's but so much we can do within our hour of our Sunday lives because, hey, lives, we have stuff that we need to, do for the rest of the day. And then, of course, Monday's a new day, back to school, back to work.
Girl. One more
Going,
week. That's all.
school's out for summer.
Shoot.
We're looking forward to
Yeah.
that. No more
Mm.
schoolwork, no more homework. Score. But thank you for joining us this Sunday.
Yes, as always, thank you so much to everyone that joins the live and comments and likes and shares. And not only the lives, but actually supports our other social media platforms like YouTube and Instagram and FB.
Mhm.
Time is something that you cannot get back, and it is priceless. And the fact that you spent your time with us, however long or short, hopefully long.
It lives on YouTube. It will live there. Just go
We'll find it. Um, thanks so much. Period.
there.
All of that. That she whispering, like all of those things. Um, the fact that you gave us some of your time,
Mhm.
we appreciate it so much. And y'all have a great
Yes.
night.
Yes. Hey, one quick thing. Don't forget to check out the series This Is Us, which releases every Sunday at noon. Every Sunday noon for the next over a 9-week period. That's when those episodes will be released. And today is dedicated to Rosa Parks. So make sure you're going on over there to check it out and check out that playlist. Have a great rest of your day, guys.